All right, the SSR90 AEG. Let's talk about it, shall we? I used to play with P90s when I was still into AEGs. Now I don't anymore because I switched to gas blowback rifles, but I used this particular platform for 2-3 years, maybe longer. I don't know exactly, but I used it extensively, and I also extensively upgraded it. So that's why I think I have something to say about it, because, you know, I own the Tokyo Marui one, and I also owned the classic Army one. So in this video, I basically want to share my experience with it. Before we get started, full disclaimer, I do work for Novridge. You've probably seen me around. And if you don't believe me, that's what it is. Nobody's paying me for this video. I do it in my free time on my private channel, and I can say whatever the hell I want. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Remember, I don't have to do this video. I do it because I want and because I do like this platform. I grew up on Stargate. Man, I'm a fan. So let's talk about it into more detail. I have my cheat sheet right here, and it starts with, I used to own P90. Yes, Tokyo Marui, Classic Army. I heavily upgraded the Tokyo Marui one, and I basically got to same performance as this one. I will talk about it a little bit later, more into detail. It cost me a lot of time and a lot of money. Definitely more than this one cost.
Well, let's go gather him up. There's no sense letting him go to waste.
Can you do it? Yes, you can do it. It's totally doable. You will just have a slightly unpleasant time doing so. If you are not an experienced tech, if you know exactly what you're doing, chances are you already done it. All right, let's continue with the next point. That is rate of fire. 25 rounds a second. I have some B-roll. I tested the accuracy as well. The rate of fire, it's great. Do you need more? I certainly don't. Actually, when I was playing with this thing, I feel like, watching back the footage, I feel like the people got a little bit too many BBs than it was necessary, and I tried to keep it reasonable. This rate of fire is ridiculous. If you play against people, as you probably will, don't hold the trigger for too long. 25 rounds a second. More than enough. Like I said, my Tokyo Marui P90, a few years ago, I upgraded it to the exactly same fire rate, and it was totally, even too much, I would say. But it's nice to have. I do like 25 rounds a second. It's just really nice to see, especially with tracers, the stream of BBs going forward. Amazing. Okay, accuracy. This Novridge advertises it. 32 gram BBs out of the box. For an AEG, that's really, you don't need more. In this B-roll, I shot it with 0.4 gram BBs. It can lift it no matter what, no issues whatsoever. The accuracy is there. It's an SMG. It's perfectly fine. I leave that up to you. In my opinion, great accuracy, great rate of fire. Don't use heavier BBs. Even 0.4s are just, first of all, too expensive. They are already sniper BBs, and the marginal increase in accuracy for a P90 probably not worth it. You will most likely use it in CQB. You don't have to, okay, important point. A lot of people see this to be CQB only gun. Totally not the case. It is on par with any AR-15, any AK, any long rifle. Not just because it's bullpup, because the performance is there. It's just perfect for woodland areas as well. Don't fall for the CQB only for this gun. It's completely not true. Next point, programmable ETU. I didn't have that with my Tokyo Marui. Did I miss it? Not really. I don't really need it personally, but it's a nice feature to have. You can program it to burst. You can do, how it's called, binary trigger. You can do precocking. Precocking is actually nice because the BB, once you pull the trigger, because the piston is already back a little bit, it's almost ready to shoot. When you pull the trigger, you almost instantly get the BB flying, which is important when somebody is peeking around the corner, you are trying to hit it. This delay that you usually have is not really there, or it's really minimal when you have precoking set to the right position. So once you pull the trigger, chances are you will get that head. So nice feature to have. Didn't have that back then. Definitely cool. Programmable trigger unit. Yep. If you are interested, do whatever you want with it. It's kind of cool to have. Why not, right? Okay, reliability. As far as I looked into the gearbox, I think everything will be fine. It's a new product, only time will tell. I don't want to go into detail. I don't see any issues with it. I played with it several times. No issues whatsoever. On the field, it just worked. Okay? I leave that up to you. Do your own research. Trigger. Trigger is actually pretty good. Do I have a battery there? No. Set to binary trigger. It's really nice because you just pull a little bit. see how much is necessary? And it already fires. On a traditional P90, you really have to squeeze it all the way, or like quite more far back. Kind of takes the snappiness feel out of it. If you put it on full auto, first you get the single shot and then full auto. I actually used it in the game and it was pretty nice because you see a head and you kind of you want the single shot, right? It's cool. Like aim and then bam, headshot. If not headshot, full auto, assuming you are not aiming only for the head, of course. If you are aiming through bushes, that's where it shines. Don't shoot full auto just at the head intentionally. Sometimes it can happen if the distance is right, if you are within the limit. I leave that up to you. Don't overshoot people. It's certainly not necessary. Ergonomics, P90s. It's a weird platform. Let's put the mag back in so that we have it. I kind of used to hold the rifle when I'm resting, when I'm just kind of walking around like this. In the wrist, it can hurt over time. Simple fix, just hold it more here. I'm kind of not used to it. I always want to have it here, kind of close to my body. But if you relax a little bit, it's not an issue. When you're aiming, it's not an issue at all. Cutie points, yes. With my older P90s, this was a pain in the ass because you have to kind of stitch your attachment point to it through this loop on the bottom, around it completely, and then fix it here in the front. So you got like weird T-shaped thing in the back. You have to make it yourself, or you have to buy the adapter or something. I never used the adapter. I just made it myself out of a nylon strap. It worked really great. I had zero issues with it. It was durable. I liked it. Here we have cutie points. So convenience, right? I do like that. It's already included in the body. It takes one of the biggest issues with the P90, that is sling attachment point, away. It's just there. Ambidextrous. The gun is whole ambidextrous, but you already read that on the website. Not that important. Trademarks, I don't care. Hop-up adjustment is stiff, which is really good because it doesn't untighten itself. This wheel, really, you have to put decent amount of force into it, and I like that. There is nothing worse than loose hop-up adjustment, because when you are shooting, the BBs are flying slightly up, then middle, and then they start dropping because the adjustment just undoes itself. Here, not an issue. CNC hop-up chamber, love it. You will never have to replace it. It's cool. For maintenance, I have it as another point, but for maintenance, this is great. It's just so simple to put it on, put it back in place, perfect. Charging handle. Charging handle we have here. It can rattle a little bit. Yeah, easy to fix. Put something there, take it off if it actually bothers you. I played with it and it didn't bother me, but I understand that for some people this might not be optimal. Really easy fix. Oh, here I see Dean's connector as a standard. Come on, 21st century, right? Dean's everywhere. Magazine capacity. These are the 100 rounders. The 180 rounders are not available yet. Is it an issue? It's always nice to have extra 80 rounds, but to be fair, if you have 1, 2 magazines, one in the gun, that's how I played with these magazines, I didn't find it to be an issue. It's enough, in my opinion. In case you are in a longer fight, take a speed roller, you can replenish the ammo. But it didn't happen to me that I would completely run out of ammo. That's not the case. Once the big ones come out, then the problem is fixed. They are transparent, so you can see how many BBs you have. Maybe you can see it, I'm not exactly sure. But you can see if they are full or not. If you see, okay, it's not full, done. You don't have to be scared of this. 100 BBs is definitely enough. But of course, you can say rate of fire, 25 rounds a second. That's 4 seconds capacity. But trust me, if you empty a magazine into every single person that you meet on the field, they won't be that happy. So ease of maintenance, that's a big one for me because I hate maintaining stuff. I don't want to spend too much time on it, and the P90, I love the design. Like this, clean the barrel, release the hop-up before you do so, put it back in place, click it in place. There you go, that's your maintenance. If you want to access the gearbox, just remove this plate, 2 screws, take out the gearbox, you are good to go. You can work on the gearbox if you know what you're doing. All right, that's ease of maintenance. By far one of my features, like the top features that I like about this. You can literally clean it after every single game and keep the accuracy on point. Once you start introducing some weird stuff, you know, it takes a little bit longer to disassemble, the pin doesn't want to go out, and you just won't do it after each game, and this makes it so easy. If you are into it and you want to run 2 different setups, I will go into what my favorite a little bit later on. It's also very easy to swap the top part. You can just release it, take this one, swap the other one in, and there you go, that's it. Probably not important for most people because you won't have 2. Why should you? Just build one that suits you and there you go. But maybe somebody out there will have 2. Who knows? QD spring exchange. Yes, I forgot to mention that. Here there is a little thingy. You just unscrew it, pop the spring out, put the spring in that you want. Maybe you are traveling to a different field. Super quick. I love that feature because we are playing on different fields and different fields have different limits, and this allows me to adapt to the exact limit basically on the field if I have the spring with me. So that's cool. Pouches. Where do we have pouches? These pouches, they worked really well. Once you put them on your gear, especially I used it on the plate carrier, you can also put them on the battle belt if you want to do so. You just attach them like this, actually like this, and then this thing, extra retention if you want to use it. I never used it because it's totally not necessary. There's no way, like, this is never going anywhere. So I like to keep it without the retention band for the quick reloads. I will also go into speed reloads with this a little bit later. Pouches work just fine. Actually, they work amazing. Nothing to say about them. Nothing bad. Portability. Yes, that's also a big deal. Traveling to a game with a huge gear bag is just not comfortable, especially with your friends. You have one small car. With this, you can put it in a backpack. That's priceless for me. You can just put it in a backpack and just be done with it. It's an AEG. You need battery, you need BBs, and a speed loader, and a few extra mags, but you have that on your gear. So backpackable. That's really nice. And you still get the decent sized barrel. You don't need more than this, really. It's airsoft. Perfect. No complaints there. But it's an SMG. You cannot go to the forest. Nonsense. This is accurate enough. With this rate of fire, you should go to the forest. You can go through the bushes easily with this amount of BBs just flying forward. So don't fall for that. This is more than capable for gameplays in the woodland areas where there's leaves and all that. Longer barrels, you don't need this. This is perfectly fine for that. Favorite setup. So here we have one setup, which is how I used to run it with the normal rail, with the Picatinny on the top. My Tokyo Marui and the Classic Army, they were mostly like this without the extra features that this one offers. but this is the setup I used to run. When I saw this for the first time, let's put the mag in so that we have the complete look. When I saw this for the first time, like, man, I don't like it. It's ugly. But the more often I saw it, this is my preferred setup right now. Not this, because the red dot sits higher. I will tell you why this is cool in a minute. But for me, I don't use any type of face protection because if a BB hits me in the face, which happens rarely, I just take it. It's a game. I'm not willing to take the hassle of wearing a mask all the time, the comfort and all that. I just don't use face masks. And this is perfect for that, because once I cheek the rifle, the red dot is exactly where it should be. So no matter what I do, I just do this and I see the red dot. 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 Because I'm not wearing anything on my face and it just is in the perfect height. No matter if you put this one or that red dot on it. So I prefer this setup. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird, but I also kind of look how minimal it is. And, well, takes off some weight and also some space possibly in your backpack. So this exact setup is my favorite. I'm gonna finish the rundown of this one. I move on that one a little bit later. Flashlight, perfect spot, because I can activate it like this with my thumb. Not every game needs a flashlight. I can also take it off. It's just M-lock. And of course, Picatinny on the top, mostly for the camera. If you don't record your gameplays like me, just leave it empty, take this off completely to take even more weight off. Red dot. Okay, this red dot works really well. I like how minimal it is. This red dot, however, is more sturdy and the dot gets brighter. Not by much, but this is a higher quality red dot and I do like it. But on the P90, with this setup, I do like this one more because of the aesthetics, because it completes the minimal look. So this one is exactly how I run it. With the suppressor, modular suppressor, V1 suppressor in the short configuration, because I don't want to make it longer, but it kind of modifies the sound a little bit, and I like how it sounds with the suppressor, makes it a tiny bit more quiet and all that. I think it looks cool, and I have something to fill the space under the rail. You don't have to use this part. You can just leave the short flash hider on there and just run it completely minimal. But this is how I prefer it. This one, if you are wearing face mask, paintball mask, whatever, ear pro, also ear pro. If you have ear pro, it's kind of hard to do this. You kind of cannot get there if there is something on your side. So this setup helps tremendously because it is higher and you just have more space. You see, if I do this, I have about this much space when I see the red dot exactly in the middle. So face mask, this is great. You can put a pack box here. Yeah, I don't use pack boxes. I need a camera there. But it's functional. If you want to use it, use it. I also have the short suppressor here because I like it. Reload comparison, yes. If you use this setup, you have these guiding things here. So putting the magazine in there is just easy. You just kind of figure it out and that's it. So you can reload really fast with this one. This one, you don't have the guides here, so it's a little bit more finicky to kind of put it in place if you don't hit it exactly. But if you take your time and kind of look where you are going, it's totally not bad at all. Just be aware of this. Train with it a little bit. Just put it there a couple of times. This was perfect, and you will be good. General experience from the field: P90s. Great platform, Tokyo Marui, Classic Army, the ones I had before. This one, out of the box, same performance as my upgraded ones, and cheaper. I spent way more money on getting it there. Great to leave it on full auto and use the single shot function if you want to hit the nice target, the headshot or something at 20-30 meters. You can totally do that, and then instantly you can switch to full auto if you miss or a branch gets it or something. Really, really nice. Ergonomics, I already touched on that. If you kind of relax a little bit, then it's not a problem at all. It's very short, very portable. It's the I think in my history the easiest setup to transport because you don't need much. One big pain back in the days was carrying magazines. I had to have like a leg holster for the magazines because they are just too long, but that got solved with this one. And also you can make it quiet. You can take a kitchen sponge, cut it in pieces, and you can stuff it around the gearbox if you want. It helps a bit. It makes the sound from the gearbox kind of less pronounced for your ear and for the enemy ears. I did it with my Tokyo Marui. I wouldn't do it again because why? It's just an idea. If you want to experiment with that, I didn't have issues with it. Nothing got stuck in the gearbox anywhere else. But if you do it wrong, chances are you could break something. You know, it's all around the motor. It could overheat because there is like foam all around it. Anyway, don't do it. I used to do it. It was quiet. It was nice. But this is completely fine. I leave that up to you. That's my opinion. The rail also, when I used to play, it was a little bit bothering that now I don't see the red dot. Where is the red dot? This solves the issue. If you are wearing a face mask, it's not an issue at all. The experience with the SSR90 in particular, several games, it performed well. Exactly what you would expect. Maybe I'm gonna insert a little bit of game footage from the field. We will see. Yeah, that's it. It's a good platform.